Hi everyone. In this practice, we're going to learn how to solve systems using elimination. And we're going to use these three steps. Step 1, we're going to write one or both equations to create a zero pair or opposite coefficients as necessary. 2, we're going to add the systems together to eliminate for one of the variables. 3, we're going to use substitution to solve for the other missing variable. So let's see what that looks like in practice. I'm looking at 2y here and 2y here. I can create a zero pair out of this set here simply by taking the top equation and multiplying this through by -1, so that instead of having plus 2y, I have a negative 2y, which is the opposite of 2y. So let's do that. So we're going to multiply the top one by -1. So we're going to have negative 3x minus 2y. I'm distributing the negative. Negative 2 times y is going to be negative 2y. And -1 times 8 on the other side is going to be -8. So what I did was multiply every term in this equation by -1. And I'm just going to copy the bottom equation. 5x plus 2y equals 12. What I have done right now is I've created my zero pair or my opposite coefficients. Right here, I have -2y plus 2y. Now I can go to step 2, add the systems together to eliminate for one of the variables. So let's add them together. So do you see that minus 2y plus 2y will cancel out? This leaves me with 5x minus 3x. That gives me 2x equals, and 12 minus 8 is 4. Now I can divide both sides by 2 and solve for x. So x is 2. So now I have my answer for x. But I still need to find the value of y. So to find y, I'm going to use the last step. It says use substitution to solve for the other missing variable. So I can replace x here with 2. I can use this equation or I can use this equation. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to use the top one. We're using the original. 3x plus 2y equals 8. You could have used the bottom one. It doesn't matter. I'm replacing x with 2 here. 3 times 2 plus 2y equals 8. So that's 6 plus 2y equals 8. Subtract 6 from both sides. I'll have 2y equals 2. If I divide both sides by 2, that means y equals 1. So y is 1. Now the last thing I need to do is check and make sure that that answer is correct. So let's do that right here. Check. 2, 1. All right, in the top one, 3 times 2, because x is 2, this is x, this is y. Okay, plus 2y, which is 2 times 1, equals 8. Well, let's see if that checks. That's 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8, so it does work. Does it work in the bottom one? 5x plus 2y equals 12. Well, let's check. So 5 times x, which is 2, plus 2 times 1. Does that equal 12? Well, let's check. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 times 1 is 2. 10 plus 2 is 12, so it does check. So we know we have the correct answer. All right, let's go ahead and try number 2. We need to come up with a zero pair, but it looks like I don't really have to rewrite anything in this system here, because I have x and I have minus x. I have already a zero pair here, so I can skip the first step and go to the second step and add them together. Let me use a different color. Let's erase. So let's just add them together. You're adding them, plus. So you see, these will eliminate themselves because they both add to 0. And I'll have 3y plus 2y from here. That gives me 5y equals 2 plus 3 is 5. We will divide both sides by 5. And notice now we have the answer for y. Y is 1. So we have y. Y is 1. What am I missing? I am missing x. Okay, so I can use substitution, step 3. I can replace y with 1 in either one of these equations. I'll use the top one. Okay, so x, I'm using the top one, x plus 3y equals 2. I'm going to replace y with 1. So x plus 3 times 1 equals 2. Okay, so that's x plus 3 equals 2. Subtract 3 from both sides. And that means x equals, well, 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So x is negative 1. Last step is to check and make sure that is the correct solution. So check negative 1, comma 1. Okay, so I'm using the top equation first. X plus 3y equals 2. Well, I know x is negative 1 plus 3 times y, which is 1. Does that equal 2? Well, that's 3 minus 1 is 2. It does work. All right, it has to work in the second one. So you have negative x. It means negative, well, x is negative 1. Plus 2y, 2 times 1. Does that equal 3? Well, that's negative 1 times negative 1. That's 1 plus 2. That does equal 3. So it does check. We know we have the correct answer. All right, let's look at number 3. Maybe you should pause the video at this point here. You try it and come back and check and see how you did. But I'm going to go ahead and continue. All right, so I can create a 0 pair out of these y's right here simply by multiplying the top equation by negative 1. All right, when I do that, negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times 6y, you're distributing, that's negative 6y. Equals, and negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. And I'm just going to copy the bottom equation. Okay, so now I've created a 0 pair so that I can eliminate the y value. And now we can go ahead and add negative 2x minus x is going to be negative x equals negative 6 plus 3 is going to be negative 3. Well, negative x means negative 1x. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. That means x is 3. So we found x to be 3. We still need to find y. So now I can use substitution. I can replace x for 3. You can use either one. I'm going to use the bottom one. X plus 6y equals 3. I'm replacing x with 3 because that's the value of x. Copy the rest of the equation. Solve it. Subtract 3 from both sides. I'll have 6y equals 0. Divide both sides by 6. That means y equals 0. So my y value is 0. The only thing we have to do is check and see if this answer is correct. All right, top equation. I'm going to replace x with 3 plus 6y. That's 6 times 0 because y is 0. Does that equal 6? Well, let's see. That's 6 plus 0 is 6. Correct. All right, let's try the second one. So x is 3. So we're going to put 3 plus 6 times y. 6 times 0. Does that equal 3? Well, that's 3 plus 0 is 3. So that is correct. So we have the correct solution. All right, let's look at number 4. So we need to rewrite probably both equations in this case in order to get a zero pair. Okay, let's look at number 4. Let's look at number 4. So I need to create a zero pair. Well, I can easily do that by multiplying the top one by -1. Because if I have negative 5x on top and 5x on the bottom, there's my zero pair. So let's do that. So I'm going to have -1 times 5x is -5x. -1 times 3y is -3y. And -1 times 5 is -5. Okay, copy the bottom one. And then now we can add them together. Our x terms will cancel. We're going to have -1y here equals -5 plus 10, or 10 minus 5 is just going to be 5. We're going to divide by -1. That means y is -5. So I just found my y value, not my x, so put it in the right place right here. Now I need to find my x, so I can use substitution. All right, let me use the bottom one. 5x plus 2y equals 10. So we're replacing y with -5. So I'll have 5x minus 10 equals 10. Add 10 to both sides. 5x equals 20. Divide both sides by 5. That means x is 4. Okay, the last step is to check that. Let's try to do that mentally. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 3 times -5 is -15. So 20 plus -15 is 5. That is correct. Let's try the other one. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times -5 is 10. 20 minus 10 is 10. So we know our answer does check. All right, moving on to number 5. Okay, so we need to rewrite one or both equations to come up with a zero pair, opposite coefficients. Well, it looks like in this case we're going to have to rewrite both of them. So let's do that. So I'm going to rewrite it so that the y terms have opposite coefficients. I'm focusing on the y's. So I'm going to multiply the top by 2, which is going to give me -6y, and I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 3, which is going to give me 6. It's going to give me -6y. So no, this is not going to work. I need to make this one negative because I need these to be opposite. Okay, so this should work. So -2 times 4x is -8x. -2 times -3y is +6y. And -2 times 8 is -16. I'll do the same thing with the bottom. 3 times 5x is 15x. And 3 times -2y is -6y. And 3 times -11 is -33. Okay, we can now add them together. We're adding them together, so this eliminates this pair here. This will give me 7x equals negative 49. And now we can divide both sides by 7. That means x is negative 7. So x is negative 7. We still need to find y. So we're going to go back and replace x with negative 7 in one of those equations. I'll do the top. So 4 times x, which is negative 7, minus 3y equals 8. Well, that's negative 28 minus 3y equals 8. Add 28 to both sides. So we'll have negative 3y equals 36. Divide both sides by negative 3. Means y equals negative 12. So our answer for y is negative 12. All we have to do is check and see if that is correct. So let's check. Negative 7 comma negative 12. All right, 4 times negative 7 minus 3 times negative 12. Does that equal 8? Well, that's negative 28 plus 36, and that does equal 8. All right, let's try it in the other one. 5 times negative 7 minus 2 times negative 12. Does that equal negative 11? Well, that's negative 35 plus 24. Does that equal negative 11? Yes, negative 35 plus 24 is negative 11. Negative 11 is equal to negative 11, so the answer is correct. Okay? Okay, let's look at number 6. We need to come up with a zero pair or opposite coefficients. All right, looking at this set here, the x values, I will have to rewrite both equations in order to get a zero pair here, and that is true for y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite both equations so that I can have a zero pair for x. So the top one, I'm going to multiply it by 3. The bottom one, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So once I multiply negative 2x times 3, I'm going to have negative 6x on top. On the bottom, I'll have 2 times 3x is going to be 6x, so that'll give me my zero pair. So let's do that. 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. 3 times minus 5y is minus 15y equals 3 times 9 is 27. Let's do the bottom one. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 11y is 22y. And 2 times 4 is 8. Let's add them together. My x term will cancel, and I'm going to have 7y here on this side equals 35. Divide both sides by 7. That means y equals 5. So y is 5. We just need to find x. So we're going to go ahead and replace y with 5. I'm going to use the top one. Negative 2x minus 5 times 5 equals 9. Let's solve that. Add 25 to both sides. So we'll have negative 2x, that's a 2, negative 2x equals 34. We divide both sides by negative 2. X equals negative 17. So x is negative 17. All we have to do is check. See if I have room here to do that. Negative 2 times negative 17 minus 5 times 5. Does that equal 9? Well, that's 34 minus 25, that is 9. Okay, let's check the second equation. 3 times negative 17 plus 11 times 5. Does that equal 4? Well, 3 times negative 17 is negative 51. Plus 55, well, 55 plus negative 51 is 4, so it does check. So our answer is correct, negative 16, comma 5. And this concludes this practice on solving systems using elimination.